Here I am, sitting in this house that belonged to my deceased aunt, trying to assimilate the absurdity that rolled 2 days ago. The funeral passed in a blur, but a scene has not left my head. My parents, who disappeared a decade ago, appearing in the registry with a mocking smile and demanding their rights to inheritance. Until my lawyer crossed the door, then their expression changed so fast that I could make a picture. I will tell everything from the beginning, since that day, 10 years ago, when my life turned upside down. My name is Yat, but everyone calls me Dad. Today I have 18, but at the time, he was 8 years old. I lived in Volgograd with my parents and two older brothers, with 14, and Ror with 15. For them, the world revolved around the boys. My mother and dad lived taking the two for soccer training, buying showers and expensive uniforms, spending the weekends in campos, cheering like crazy. The family routine was dictated by their schedules, morning at the gym, afternoon in training, weekend in games or tournaments. Not that they completely ignored me, they gave me food. They took me to school. They bought clothes when I needed. But I was like a furniture in the room. It's there. But no one noticed until a muffled night of July changed everything. The heat in Volgograd was unbearable, and I unable to sleep. I went to the kitchen to get water. That's when I heard my parents nap in the room. No longer. That mortgage is drowning us, and its job only gets worse. My mother spoke almost in tears. I know, 3 children today is a weight. We could barely pay the boys' championships, not to mention college for the three. And what do? My father asked. Your sister Rita has that big house in Krasnodar. After the divorce, she lives alone in that huge place. Every time she calls, kids question. I squeezed in the corridor, not understanding right where that was going to give. I knew we were not rich, but I also didn't imagine the situation was so critical. And this Aunt Rita, I had never heard of her. My father badly mentioned, lives far, is a financial director of a company. That night I went back to the room and tried to forget what I heard. At the age of 8, adult money doesn't make much sense. A month later, the school year is over. I thought we finally traveled together. Nothing. My parents announced that we were going to visit my father's sister in Krasnodar. The boys were important workouts, of course. I, in the back seat, heard their deft discussion and thought, well, at least I'll know a new place. When we arrived at the Gardens du Sol condominium, my chin fell. Aunt Rita's house looked like a movie. White facade, columns, impeccable lawn. A tall woman, with dark hair stuck in a severe bun, went out to receive us, dressed as if he had left a board meeting. He looked at me with those penetrating blue eyes and suddenly smiled. Hello, honey. How long? I wanted to meet you. His voice was not that false way of adults taking affection. She seemed to see me, not as an accessory, but as a person died inside the house. Everything was even more impressive. While the adults talked about their things, I watched the paintings, the expensive furniture, the luxury that exuded from every corner. 1 hour, my father got up. Well, we go. The road is long. I got up too. Okay, I already get my things. That's when my mother, with a sweet voice, let go. In fact, love, you'll spend time with Aunt Rita. My heart froze. How long? We see. My dad answered, looking anywhere but to me. You'll love it here. There's cable TV, pool, huge terrain, and when do you come back? Fear went up through the throat. Soon, my mother gave a quick kiss on my head. We call. They hugged me without conviction and ran out. I ran after. Wait, when is this soon? End the school in September? We solve. My father shouted already in the car. Obey Aunt Rita. And they left. I stood on the porch, seeing their priority disappear in the curve, without understanding anything. Aunt Rita put her hand on my shoulder. Come, and you're at. I'll show you your room. It was 3 times larger than mine in Volgograd, with canopy, private bathroom, and pool view. In other circumstances, I would have freed happiness, but all I managed to say was beautiful. The first week was like a dream. Aunt Rita took me to malls, cinema, taught me how to use her latest notebook, and, most importantly, she listened to me. In truth, when I talked about school, friends, books, she paid attention, asked questions, remembered the details. For me, that was new, but every day, the longing for home tightened more. As much as my parents ignored me, they were mine, and my brothers, as boring as they were my blood. Aunt Rita, Mom and Dad didn't care. Not yet, honey, but they'll call, you'll see. Only they didn't care. Neither in a week nor in 2, nor in a month. Died in early August. Despair hit. Aunt Rita, I need to go back. The school will start. She put the cup of coffee and looked at me in the eye. We need to talk. They will come pick me up, right? I asked, already knowing the answer. She sighed deep. No, my daughter. Your parents, they have decided they can no longer take care of you. They have signed the resignation of rights. I finished the adoption. Now, by law, I'm your mother. You'll live here forever. The words beat me like cotton. I waited for her to laugh, to say it was a joke. But his face was serious, a mixture of sadness and determination. That's when everything collapsed. I cried like never before, as if to drown my tears. It wasn't just anger, it was my ruining world. Yes, they didn't pay attention to me, but it was my parents. They had to be. And the yay gay and the cat A-R-A-L-L, I managed to ask between sobs. They too know, honey. Your brother stayed with them. It destroyed me for good. They kept the boys, but not me. I was the excess, the error. The piece left. 3 days crying without stopping. Aunt Rita was an angel. I carried food, gave me scarves, stayed next to me when the pain was unbearable. It didn't come with ready-made phrases like everything will get better or went for your good. Just let me cry. On the fourth day, I woke up with my head lighter. I was lying down, looking at the ceiling, knowing that from now on, nothing would be like before. I looked at the ceiling and thought, okay, Dasha, you have two options. Or the rest of your life expects the sea to calm down, dreaming that those who have discarded you will regret, or build a new life with someone who really wants you. At the breakfast table, I looked firmly to Aunt Rita and said, Aunt, I don't want to think about them anymore. If they don't care, their problem. It was there that my real life began. She enrolled me at the city school, much better than Volgograd. Smaller classes, teachers who really looked in their eyes. I met the Reed, a girl who lived in 2 houses of ours. Aunt Rita was the absolute opposite of my parents. Every day I asked how the day had been, and heard the answer. Help with a lesson. Explain what I didn't understand. I went to all my presentations, all parents' meetings. I bought books just because I realized that I loved reading. She worked on something serious, financial director of UJ and Gay, a large company. Sometimes I told me about work as I dealt with numbers. Investments. He taught me how to save money, how to plan spending. Daughter, freedom is not having everything. It is not dependent on anyone. He said. The years passed fast. I took high grades, played on the school's soccer team, took piano classes. We created our traditions. We cooked together at night. We watched old movies on weekends. She told me stories from my father's childhood, but about the adult brother, Miss Cott, not a word. When I was 40, Aunt Rita took me by surprise. Dasha, do you want to see your parents? Your brothers? Can I organize? I thought for 10 seconds. No, 6 years without a phone call, without a birthday card. If they had regret, they would have appeared before. I just wanted you to know the door is open, she replied with a nod. And we never touched the subject again. Life with her was good. Demanding. Yes, with studies I had no easy. At home I had to help, but fair. And, above all, caregiver. Until, at 16, everything collapsed. Aunt Rita began to lose weight for no reason, to get tired with anything. In the beginning, it blamed the work, until the exams revealed the worst, cancer. Aggressive. I remember that night when she sat with me on the same couch where, 8 years earlier, I had told me the truth about my parents. Dasha, it's bad news. It's cancer. The world stopped. Are you going to die? I don't know, my dear, but I will fight to the end. He left the work, focused on treatment. And the money? The house? Don't worry. I have reservations, and the health insurance covers everything. Let's realize the next 2 years were hell. Chemotherapy, radiotherapy, comings and goings to the hospital. I learned to really cook, to manage the house. As soon as I took off my wallet, I took her to the sessions. At 17, cancer retreated. We breathed relieved. Do we win? But on my 18th birthday, he came back with everything. We celebrated at home, only both of us. She was too weak to leave, but she looked at a cake and gave me my grandmother's necklace. I am very proud of you, Dasha. It has grown hard, intelligent, good. It will work. 2 months later, I graduated from high school. She was in the hospital. Can't go to graduation. The Reed filmed everything on my cell phone. We made a video call. Aunt Rita cried with happiness when she saw me receiving the diploma. A month later, she was gone. He was by his side in the ward. It simply fell asleep and didn't wake up anymore. 53 years. How old is this to go after the funeral? I was swallowed by the void. 18 years. A huge house. And no direction. Who saved me was Olga Stepanovna, friend of Aunt Rita since college. She took care of everything. Wake, called the acquaintances. We need to warn your father, he said. He is Rita's brother. You who call. I hadn't talked to him for a decade. She put the Vivo. After a few touches, he answered hello. Mikhail. It's Olga Kozlova, friend of his sister. I call with sad news. Margarita passed away yesterday. Okay. I understand the funerals will be Saturday at 14H in the Church of Nativity in Krasnodar. I can send the address Saturday. Can't. My eldest son has a promotion at work. The whole family comes. Everything has been planned for weeks. Olga and I exchanged an incredulous look. Sorry, you just said you won't come to your sister's funeral because of the party. It's not a party. It is an important event for Kirill. He killed himself to work for it. Rita would understand family first. Olga's voice froze. Rita was also her family, of course, but she is gone. We need to think about the living. In addition, Dasha is already adult. Realizes alone. Olga hung up. Sorry, my dear, he said, looking at me. I'm not surprised. What else to expect from them? The funeral was beautiful. 150 people came, colleagues, friends, faithful of the church. Olga made a beautiful speech. I also said, holding the tears with all my strength. 2 days later, still sitting in that void, trying to understand what to do. Sell the house. Entering the university, Aunt Rita and I had talked about studies, but nothing concrete. On the third day, the notary called. The will be read tomorrow. I took the documents and went. Only he expected him in a bureaucratic procedure. But when I opened the door, my blood froze. My parents and brothers were there, sitting, smiling, as if nothing had happened. Hi, Dasha. My mother got up, as if us hugged me. I backed away. What are you doing? Hear me. Father settled in the armchair, crossing his legs as if he was at home. We came to see you. Of course, we feel a lot for your loss. The brother sat beside, looking around as evaluators. The diplomas on the walls, the files on the shelf. Not bad, huh? Kirill said, running her hand through the table. Everything here is first world. We came to support you. My mother threw herself on the sofa as if she was the owner of the place. You can't be alone at such a time, daughter. And where were you 3 days ago? In the funeral. Dasha, you know it was the Kirill party. Everything was already paid. The whole family came. We were not going to cancel. She shrugged. The important thing is that we are here now. We want to take care of you. I laughed for the first time since Aunt Rita's death. To care serious? And where were you in the last 10 years? This is different. She stammered. You lived with Rita. She took care of you. Now that she is gone, you need a real family. She was my real family. Igor interrupted. Impatient, no more drama. We know why we are here. You inherited everything. Don't you? What everything? Kirill smiled. Ironic, it's not just the house, Dasha. Are the accounts. Million. It's not a toy for an 18-girl. My father nodded. Really, as Margarita's brother, I am entitled to half. It's fair. She left me everything. Let's contest the will, my father said cold. And your eyes have fixed me. You will learn that money without a family is worth nothing. You're just a child, not ready to deal with this money. My mother shook her head, as if her concern were genuine, but his eyes shone with hunger that even the best actor could disguise. We are your legal representatives. Let's help you manage this right heritage. They exchanged glances and rehearsed choreography of falsehood. Each word sounded like a poison affection, every gesture like a velvet line trap. Get out. My voice came out low, but firm. Now, don't be ridiculous. Dasa, my father struck the table with his fingertips, the sound echoing like a warning. You need us. I don't need anything from you. My mother got up from a leap, the worried mother mask slipping to reveal the raw frustration underneath. You won't realize alone. There is no experience. There is no one exclamation. I squeezed my fists until the nails crashed into their hands. Alone, that word hurt less than their hypocrisy. So I remembered, in the pocket of the coat, the visiting wallet of lawyer Andrei Sergeyevich Lukinov, thick and white as a lifeguard. He had put her in my hands on Aunt Rita's funerals, with a discreet tightness on her shoulder and a warning colon. If they do work, call. Immediately. I didn't hesitate. I typed the number with fingers that trembled more anger than fear. He answered in the second touch. Andrei Sergeyevich. It's Dasha. Their eyes widened as they heard me, as if I had pulled a gun. My parents are pressing me right here at the registry office. They are already talking about contesting the will. Pause. Then, dry like a shot. Don't sign anything. Don't agree with anything. I'm already on my way. The air returned to my lungs. I waited. The notary's office smelled old paper and fresh lye. My family, chewed candy on the table as if they were in welcome tea, not in a protocol ambush. The door opened with a crash. Andrei Sergeyevich came in without a hurry, but with the authority of those who had already won the battle before it even started. Tall, impeccable silver hair, dark suits that looked like shielding. He greeted the notary with a nod, deposited the folder on the table like a flag. Good morning. Andrei Lukinov. His voice was velvety but sharp. I represent the interests of the late Margarita Pavlovna and his only her IRA. Darya. My father got up so fast that the chair gritted. We are not invited. Svidid. I'm Mikhail Sidorov, Margarita's brother. And these pointed to my mother and Kirill with a theatrical gesture or Dash's parents. They're legal representatives, legal representatives. Andre raised an eyebrow, as if the idea were so absurd that he didn't even deserve an answer. What based me mother hurried to intervene. The words running out: she is only 18 years old. It's still a child. We are obliged to first. The lawyer interrupted her with a smile that did not come to the eye. At the age of 18, in Russia, the person reaches full civil capacity. Daria is adult. Second, open the folder, taking a document with the delicacy of those who handle a grenade. 10 years ago, you were deprived of family power by court decision. Daria was adopted by Margarita Pavlovna. He closed the folder with a snap. Legally, you're nothing to her. Igor swallowed hard. Kirill, red as a mature tomato, stammered: but she's our sister. Biologically, yes. Andrei nodded, serene, cool, and emotionally. He shrugged. This is another story in the inheritance. My father growled, his white fingers so tight. I am the brother of the deceased! The notary adjusted the glasses, opened the thick paste, and began reading with the intonation of those who recite a verdict. The will was written according to the law. All goods, the house, the accounts, the titles, and the approximate value of 200 million rubles are left exclusively Daria Alexandrovna Sidorova. Silence. They were gaping, like fish taken from the water. My father exploded: this is an injustice. I am your family. The family supports itself! It was the first time I spoke without hesitation. My voice had clean, like tempered steel. The family supports, isn't it? I turned to them slowly. Where were you when Aunt Rita died of cancer? Where were they when I carried her in my arms to the chemotherapies? When I held her hand to the last sigh? My mother went: we didn't know. They didn't know why. In 10 years, they didn't care once. They had time to be a family. They chose not to be. The notary closed the folder with a dry blow. According to the law and the will, Daria is the only heiress. The others have no legal basis for complaints. Andre complimented. I screamed: if they insist on pursuing it, we will enter with an action by invasion of privacy and coercion. He smiled without joy. I advise not to aggravate the situation. The silence that followed was so dense that you could cut with a knife that would like to nail on my back. They went out in a pack, knocking on the door with the force of those who know it lost, but has not given up yet. I stared out the window as their car ripped, raising dust, probably already planning Plan B along the way back to Volgograd. Thank you, said Andrei Sergeyevich. He didn't smile. There's no point. But his eyes found mine. This is not over. And he was right. Because when the smell of money is in the air, people turn beasts.